So, here's a quick picture of what my day has been like so far. I get up super early in the morning, go to university, have my 9 AM class, and get back to the house by 11. I fill up a nice tall glass of water. I sit down, I open my editing software, and I get back to work on Let's Talk Sonic Episode 2. About 2 hours into the session, I've got a remix of Metal Scratchin' playing in my ear as a notification pops up on my phone. Tales Tube Episode 1. Oh yeah, I remember this was going to be a thing. I open it up, no reason not to check it out when the video just dropped. And then this bombshell hits.
Ah, the twisty, bouncy beauty of nature. What more could an adventure-hungry hedgehog ask for?
From orbit, you can see these massive continents, right? They're full of fascinating countries, each with their own unique cultures and people. What you can't see from orbit are all the islands dotting the oceans. There's a bajillion of them. I'm originally from Westside Island, which is where Sonic and I first met. Folks like us usually live on these kind of islands, while people like this live in the bigger countries.
So, Two Worlds is no longer a thing. Let's talk about that. Some of you will know what Two Worlds is, and likely will have strong opinions about it. Others have no idea what this Two Worlds thing is, so let me give you the TLDR. Two Worlds is a concept that Takashi Iizuka introduced to the Sonic series in 2010 during the lead-up to Sonic Colors. In an interview with Game, which is basically British GameStop, Iizuka casually dropped the note that there were now two planets in the Sonic universe, a human world and a non-human world. This was in direct contrast to previous games in the series, which had the humans and the animal people of Sonic's world, often called Mobians by the fans in absence of a better name, sharing a planet. For example, in Sonic Adventure 1, a human girl brings up visiting Never Lake to see Little Planet, a location in which a two-world sense would exist on Sonic's world. Likewise, Big the Cat lives in Mystic Ruins, a location on Earth. Now, why would this spontaneous major world-building retcon be introduced into the series 19 years after its beginning, especially after the divide between Japanese and American canon back in the 90s? Simple. This was 2010, and SEGA was in the process of performing a massive overcorrection of Sonic's identity. Two of the biggest recent Sonic games, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 and Sonic Unleashed, both critically panned. Unleashed has received more favorable reception in recent years, but at the time it was considered a black mark on the series. In a desperate attempt to fix a problem blown out of proportion, SEGA looked at a bunch of reviewers complaining about humans coexisting with anthropomorphic cartoon animals and decided to just not have humans in any more Sonic games. But there's a problem. Shadow the Hedgehog and Dr. Eggman are both inherently connected to the existence of humans. Shadow's backstory revolves around the human government and his ties to a human family, and Eggman is a human. Thus, the statement that the humans had their own planet and were off doing things on Earth while Colors, Lost World, and Forces took place on Sonic's world. The greater Sonic fandom had no idea about this, because it was all contained in some old interview that nobody ever brought up. Skip ahead, it's 2017. Sonic Forces drops and its story is a hot mess. The apparently broken world building shows no sign of GUN in the game despite Eggman having conquered 99% of the planet, and alien writing litters the city levels. What's up with this? Questions were asked, and Iizuka publicly restated in an interview with Game Informer that a human world existed when Elise was brought up. This, in the same interview that he claimed Emerald Coast, a level placed right outside the Station Square Hotel, is the hottest vacation destination in Sonic's world. Ugh. The fanbase, in particular the lore aficionados, were livid. This was a complete restructuring of the canon and no one knew about it, including Ian Flynn. Yeah, that's right, the main writer of the official comic series didn't know Two Worlds was a thing until beginning work on IDW Sonic, and he wasn't a fan. Over the next 5 years, the fanbase split in half. Some fans were all for this retcon, willing to accept it either from open-mindedness or due to compliance with existing headcanons. Other fans vehemently hated the idea of Two Worlds, rejecting the idea of it and treating it as an inapplicable headcanon. But Sonic Forces was right there, and it's incredibly difficult to explain that game in a one-world sense. Granted, it's difficult to explain a lot of things about Forces in a two-world sense as well. Headcanons were created to patch holes in the new canon. Connections were made between the new and the old, and eventually, fanworks adapted the concept of two worlds into their narrative. For a decent amount of time, anti-two-worlders attempted to push the idea that the two worlds thing was a mistranslation. But no, as Flynn confirmed, it wasn't a mistranslation. Over time, it was learned that the two worlds idea was apparently inherited from Yuji Naka, original creator of Sonic. This was never implemented into the games before Sonic Colors, but the idea was at least present. Then came the Bumblecast on July 26, 2021.
I'm gonna say it again, forget about Two Worlds. I can't specify why, just don't worry about it anymore. Number two,
there's some people who are getting real antsy about that.
I know, and you know my position on Two Worlds, and I say this with a calm and satisfied smile. Don't worry about it anymore.
Would you say
Trust
that
me.
is a knowing smile?
Folks had no idea what to make of this until today, and now we come to March 24th, 5 years after it became public knowledge of the greater community, and 12 years after its inception, Two Worlds has been decanonized with more gravitas than it was canonized. So it just sounds like this has caused a bunch of problems for the community, right? Then that begs the question. I have a very unique perspective on this specific topic since I've spent the past 2 years as a member of the SEGA Scourge studio. For those who don't know, Scourge operated by the Two Worlds in his Sonic What If series and made a pair of videos defending the concept. Naturally, his Discord server was full of Two Worlders. Back when I first found out about the concept in early 2020, I was not a fan of it, but over time, I got used to it. I was still upset that the world building had been broken and the fans' headcanons needed to do the heavy lifting now, but it just became the status quo. I worked on What If Sonic Lost His Memory with Scourge and helped to sculpt the Two Worlds utilizing plotlines Scourge had created. I participated in the various discussions and hashed out my own headcanons about how the canon operated in a Two World sense. But I can't in good faith say that I prefer it to One World, simply because of how much the fans need to do in order to make it function. But I'm just one person. I asked around the server before making this, and the common answer I got was an ironic one, to say the least. The active Two Worlds fans I talked to brought up that the main interest they had in Two Worlds was related to the world building potential. Sonic's race being aliens allowed for different alien civilizations to interact, and for two separate cultures across different worlds to slowly cross paths. There's a lot of creative freedom in how you can structure the canon under this mindset. Additionally, the idea was brought up that Two Worlds would allow for more space for world building and provide a canonical explanation why Sonic's race looks so different from humans. But I think the biggest reason people care is because the series actually did use the concept in universe. It just wasn't in the games nor in the comics. It was in the anime, Sonic X. In case you didn't know or forgot, a pivotal element of Sonic X's plot is the fact that Sonic and his cast are sent to Earth through Chaos Control and have to find their way back. This introduced the concept of there being two planets to kids back in 2004, who are now a major part of the fandom almost 2 decades later. Elements of this concept were also adapted into the Sonic movie, introducing an even wider audience to the concepts of warp rings and Sonic being an alien. However, none of that matters anymore. Two Worlds is no longer a thing, so... Here's the overview. In current Sonic canon, Sonic's world is called Earth. It has both humans and animal people, popularly referred to as Mobians, living on it. The planet is surrounded by several satellites, both natural and artificial. The Lost Hex, the Moon, Angel Island, and Little Planet are all natural, but the United Federation launched a space colony known as the Ark over 50 years ago, and Dr. Eggman has since launched several Death Eggs. The mainland of the continents is populated primarily by humans, with a minority Mobian population, while the various islands are typically considered to be Mobian territory. Every single canon Sonic game, with the obvious exceptions of Rush Adventure, Colors, and Generations, all take place on this one singular planet. From here, I suppose we'll see what happens. Flynn has indicated that this may play into future events in the series, so we'll just have to wait and see how all this world building connects, won't we? Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I kinda just threw this together in a day because I wanted to try and help clear the air on a present situation. If you stopped by just to check out this video, thank you very much for giving the channel a shot. I make fun Sonic content here and I plan to start making content for other series as well, so if you feel like sticking around, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now for all the returning viewers, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on the situation. First of all, thank you so very much for all the support. It's honestly crazy to me that the first episode of the Knuckles What If did so well, and I've noticed a recent boost on views in the first Let's Talk Sonic episode as well. I figured I'd update you guys on what's happening going forward so you know a little of what to expect. First off, the elephant in the room. Part 2 of the Knuckles What If is going to take a while. I know you're all eager for the next part, but these things take a while. Part 1 was in the workshop for 4 months before it was ready to go. I can at the very least promise you that I've started work on the script for Part 2, and I have both it and Part 3 plotted out. Once I get the script for part 2 finalized, I'll reach out to my art and VA teams to get the conveyor belt of content running. But I can promise what's coming next. Tune in the first week of April for the next episode of Let's Talk Sonic, where Roxy and I are going to be talking about the Knuckles clan and their mirror, the Nocturnus clan. It's going to be a pretty long video, but I'm putting in the work to make sure it turns out well. Not to mention, I've got another video coming down the pipeline with a concretely set release date. On May 21st, I'll be participating in the trend event Save the Yostverse alongside Pillar of Garbage, and hopefully a few other content creators. For those unaware, it's a campaign to bring back several shows under the banner of the Yostverse, but most notably Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Some people might have noticed Ant-Man located on my channel banner. I don't plan to do purely Sonic, and this will be my first foray beyond that into Marvel Comics. Hope you guys watch that video when it comes out. Likewise, at the time of recording this, I'm super close to 500 subscribers already. Going into this, I didn't realize how big of a milestone that would be, but 500 subs is enough to get a community post and allow me to interact with you guys regularly. Again, I really appreciate all the support so far, and a little bit more is all that's needed to make this a real community. I literally couldn't do this without you. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!